Do you feel like it's nearly impossible to save money based on your current income? While saving money is much easier when you're making big bucks, it is entirely possible to save money on a low income. Therefore, in this video, I will share with you 7 practical ways to save money on a low income. And if you're new to the channel, then hit the subscribe button for more life-changing content. Tip number 1, lower your housing costs. Whether you rent or you own, the cost of your housing will be your largest expense every month. Many financial experts suggest that the total of your rent or mortgage payments plus bills should be no more than 35% of your monthly after-tax income. And while this expense eats up a lot of your monthly income, it also offers the largest opportunity to find cost reductions, essentially allowing you to save more money even if you're earning a lower income. For renters, there are numerous ways you can reduce your housing costs, with the first being to find a cheaper place. Perhaps a single room in someone's house will be adequate for your needs instead of continuing to rent a 2-bedroom apartment. But if you have no desire to move, then it may be time to look into other ways to reduce your current rent. Effective strategies can include negotiating an exchange of your services, like doing renovations, for a rent reduction, or agreeing to sign a longer lease if the tenant's security is what your landlord wants. When I used to rent, I exchanged tax advice and monthly bookkeeping services for a few extra $100 off my rent. This simple swap of goods and services saved me thousands of dollars over the course of my lease, allowing me to save money while earning a low income. And if you're a homeowner, then the advice is a little bit different. While you probably don't want to move out to save money, even small things like turning off the lights and reducing your water usage can lead to substantial savings over time. However, the best way to offset your housing costs is to rent out a room. Renting out a room in your home can easily net you a few extra $100 a month, which can help cover your bills, allowing you to put more money in your piggy bank at month's end. Tip number 2, avoid debt. If you want to save money while making an income smaller than you'd like, then you must avoid debt at all costs. This is because debt deters you from saving in 2 ways. Firstly, having debt means monthly repayments. Every month, creditors will be knocking at your door for money, which if that debt was avoided would mean more money in your pocket at month's end. Secondly, debt is almost always associated with monthly interest charges. For lines of credit, these rates are typically around 3 to 5%, which means that on a $10,000 balance you would be handing over around $25 to $40 a month. While this seems like a small amount of money, when compounded monthly, it can begin to add up. When you total the dollar value of all of your repayments and their associated interest charges, you can start to see how carrying debt can make saving on a low income a challenge. This issue is only further exacerbated when it comes to credit card debt. As of 2019, creditcards.com reports that the average interest rate on credit cards is 17.65%, meaning that getting into debt is an expensive ordeal, and if you're carrying the average credit card balance per US adult of $6,348, which at that rate means you're paying about $1,120.42 in interest charges to credit card companies. Therefore, if you want to save money on a low income, you need to avoid debt and their associated interest charges at all costs. Tip number 3, limit entertainment costs. We all want to have fun, but unfortunately for many people, this comes at a hefty cost. Eating out, hitting the bar after work, going to the movie theater, and other entertainment purchases can make a huge dent in your budget. But luckily, it doesn't have to. When I was younger, my main source of fun was going out to the club with my friends, but unfortunately most nights were very expensive. Between cabbing to and from the bar, buying drinks, and paying cover, most nights ran me $100 easily. As I got older, my attention shifted towards growing my wealth, and I didn't want to lose out on social time with my friends. This made me brainstorm new ways to get in quality time with my friends while not breaking the bank. One of my favorite alternatives has been going on walks with my friends. But some other ideas I've come up with include having dinner parties at home rather than at a restaurant, and watching a movie on Netflix rather than going to the theater. In short, we all need to have fun, but we don't need to spend an arm and a leg to do it. Tip number 4, understand your wants versus your needs. There's no doubt that spending money makes us feel good, but when you're earning a low income and have a desire to save, you need to be able to delineate your wants from your needs. For instance, you may want to upgrade your phone to the newest model, but you probably don't need to. You may want a new shirt to wear out this Friday, but you probably already own plenty of good shirts. When you're not making a lot of money, you have to be extra diligent and spend only on your core expenses. So how should you draw the line between want and need items? I like to classify anything that relates to my survival as a need. These are things like food, clothes, shelter, and transportation in their most basic form. Sure, buying a Ferrari is transportation, but in its most basic form, taking the bus also gets you from point A to point B. Want items are basically anything that falls outside your needs group. This includes anything that is an extension of things you already own. For example, if you were to upgrade your phone to the new model just to get a camera with an extra 2 megapixels in it. Now, of course, you can't restrict your spending to the bare minimum forever. So if you do want to splurge on a want item, here's what I suggest. Set a financial goal you want to achieve, like saving $1,000. Once you've hit the goal, you can then go ahead and purchase the item you've been wanting. This technique is great for 2 reasons. First, it helps you build the habit of forming financial goals. And second, it gives you time to process how badly you want the item, as often we purchase things out of impulse and find ourselves experiencing buyer's remorse soon after. So if you want to ensure you save money on a low income, you must be able to delineate your wants from your needs. Tip number 5, spend wisely on groceries. The average amount of money a family of 4 spends on groceries is estimated at nearly $1,000 a month, which makes it one of the higher monthly expenses we typically incur. However, with a bit of planning and the strategies I'm about to share with you, it's not unreasonable to be able to cut that number in half. The first step in cutting your monthly grocery bill is to plan your meals ahead of time. This will not only be a step in the right direction from a health perspective, but it will also ensure that you only buy what you absolutely need. You see, whether you realize it or not, we waste a lot of food. A 2018 study in Science Daily found that Americans waste on average a pound of food a day, which if avoided can mean big savings in the grocery department. Besides avoiding waste, planning ahead will allow you to buy foods that are on sale, meaning that your typical $250 a week grocery bill can easily shrink to $200 or less, ultimately putting more money in your pocket at month's end. The second step in reducing your grocery costs is to eat less meat. Meat is by far the most expensive grocery item you can buy, which makes it an easy target when trying to reduce your bill. Now, I'm not saying you need to become a vegetarian in order to save money, but by cutting down your meat consumption and replacing it with cheaper options like beans, you will be able to cut down your grocery bill drastically. The final tip that will help you reduce your food bills is to only bring cash when going grocery shopping. All too often, people find themselves at the grocery store hungry and eager to fill up their shopping carts, which is facilitated by the seemingly endless ability to spend on credit. Instead, plan out your purchases ahead of time and only bring enough cash for those items you need, so you don't let your hunger get the best of you. Tip number 6, practice zero-sum budgeting. When practicing zero-sum budgeting, you are intentionally spending every single dollar you make, but not in the way it sounds. Zero-sum budgeting involves allocating your income towards each of your expense line items and then earmarking any leftover funds towards a savings or investment account. Let's use an example to illustrate this budgeting method. Say you're earning $2,000 a month after tax at your job. Using the zero-sum budgeting method, you would allocate this entire $2,000 towards your monthly expense line items. Typical expenses include rent, car payments, gas, groceries, and entertainment. But using this method, you would also create a line item for savings. Once this listing is complete, you would then allocate your entire $2,000 to the line items, which forces you to put part of your income in savings. This strategy is particularly effective for those who typically get to the end of the month and realize they have no money left for savings, but with the zero-sum budgeting method, as long as you stick to your initial budget, you will be sure to see your bank balance grow. Tip number 7, automate your savings. The final step in ensuring you save money, even on a low income, is to automate your savings. One of the best things I have ever done for my finances was setting up automated deductions from my pay with my employer. In essence, what these deductions allowed me to do was send part of my paycheck directly into a savings account instead of the full amount going right into my checking account. When I initially set up this process, I allocated 10% of my after-tax income to my savings account. But over time, I found that I've been able to up this to about 20% and double my monthly savings. Now, I think this savings technique has been so successful for 2 primary reasons. First, it allowed me to pinpoint exactly how much I wanted to save. In fact, by using automated deductions, you can set your deduction to the amount you have designated as monthly savings in your zero-sum budget, which helps you tie the 2 money-saving techniques together. Second, it took the thought of having to save off of my mind, allowing me to focus on other important things like improving my skills in order to make more money. I often preach that once you have a solid savings technique in effect, that making more money is the number one way to save more, and by freeing up my mental bandwidth, I was able to take on more freelance work, earning me extra income, and ultimately boosting my savings. Thanks for watching. If you want to go from the life you have to the life you deserve, then hit the subscribe button now.